Hey my friends, so it's finally a little cloudy outside, so I figured I'd sit down and do this video on Wim Hof in combination with Dr. Joe's breathing method in order to stimulate the pineal gland. So in order to practice this breathing method, it's proper to have the body in alignment, but it's also the mind in alignment. So there's a position for your body and there's a position for your mind. And the body in general is spine straight, to the best of your ability, that kind of thing. And the position for your mind is as witness consciousness. And so some of you might be familiar with this, others may not, but it's super simple and at the same time life-changing. So the witness is the observer of your thoughts. It's a eternal presence, and it's what unifies all of us. And so what you can do is, with your attention, imagine that there is the observer here, and that there is your mundane consciousness like this, okay? And these circles overlap, and in the middle is your attention. In general, your attention is on the mundane consciousness. Your attention is on the thoughts in your head. In this case, the thought that if I do this breathing properly, if I follow these instructions, I'm going to activate my pineal gland and then something's going to happen. Okay? So that's the narrative, that's default mode network. Okay? Your attention is generally there and on its subsequent emotions. And then there's the observer, the one that is witnessing the changing forms over here, but there's this stable, steady stillness, this observer that is always present. And so for this, the position of your mind is to put the attention on the observer. Knowing that, then you combine the proper position physically with the proper position of your mind, and combining Dr. Joe's method along with Wim Hof. When you inhale, you're drawing in, and as you draw in, as Wim teaches, you're contracting your perineum, okay? And you're stimulating that lower dantian, the lower belly. So, and that's the contraction, and you're squeezing, you're beginning to squeeze, you're priming the prana tube, you're priming this cerebral spinal fluid to start to move. And as Wim would teach, that's about 15 inhalations. So he goes fully in and out, fully in and out. So fully in and out. And find your own rhythm. You cannot micromanage it. So a lot of people are going to look at this process and want to get very specific about the mechanics, but your body is going to take over at a certain point. You're going to follow the rhythm of your body. Important though, what I'm really putting out there is on combining Wim with Dr. Joe. What are you doing? You are inhaling fully in, and as you do, you're contracting, you're pulling your belly button back towards the spine, contracting the perineum, and then at the same time allowing that energy. You're going to find that energy sometimes stays, the attention will stay here in the dantian, or it might start to move, and as it moves, go with it, right? So fully in, contracting, feeling if that energy moves, and out. Now, after you've done about 15 of those, you're primed, okay? The breath is starting to move. As Wim teaches, you're going to exhale, 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 everything out, and you hold. That's called the retention. During that retention, what I'm doing is I am contracting, and that's when I begin to squeeze. So I'm squeezing the perineum, I'm squeezing lower abdomen, upper abdomen, heart, and I'm contracting. Now, sometimes it's this way, sometimes it's this way, okay? And at the same time, during that retention, I'm contracting, I'm pulling in, pulling in, pulling in. The energy starts to move. Naturally, my tongue goes to the roof of my mouth, and I start to contract up here and push from up here. That's why these hands become important. It's easy to get the contraction going during the retention and these lower, you have the muscle memory for that. But when you start to try to compress that energy up here, it's a little bit more difficult. So works and or works. Okay. So fully in, you're priming, you're getting the muscle memory going. Once you hit your retention, that's when you're squeezing, and usually you can feel the energy build up to your heart. You're going to exhale. That's the 15-second retention with whim, okay? So once you do that, and you've kind of become familiar with it, then you can try for the longer retention. So the longer retention is the same method where you're fully in, fully out, fully in, fully out, and so on. During what would be a minute 30 and so on, where all the neurochemistry is popping off, where you have the adrenaline and dopamine starts to move, the contraction at that time, that's when you can really move that energy, because you have about a minute and 30 to be able to move that energy. So during that process, the energy circulates, and what I'm doing is targeting there's a plane. You can imagine that there is about 3 inches into the center of the brain, and then this little dot, there's a little dent here. Imagine that there's an intersection. And so what we're doing is we're using the body mechanically, and then we're putting the attention on that spot during that long minute and a half retention with the Wim Hof method. So while you're doing this, it's important to learn that your body, it's like a trust. You have to really let go into the fact that your body knows exactly what to do, and that these energies know exactly where to move. So looking for the experience and seeking the experience is sometimes the very thing that might get in your way. So anyway, I hope this helps, and I might do a little follow-up video here because that's how I'm feeling. So, okay, my friends, peace.